In today's video, I'll be showing you how to chat with your document inside Slack with n8n. You'll be able to upload document, ask question and clear answers right inside Slack. Let's dive in. Right, so now I am in my n8n account. Go ahead and create a new workflow, and then we are going to add the first step. So select add first step. Then we are going to add a trigger. Just search for Slack, and once you select Slack, you should be able to see a lot of triggers. So we have on any event, we have on bot app mention, on file made public. You can choose anyone. I'll go ahead and choose on new message posted to channel. We're going to change that later on. All right, so now here you should be able to see your webhook URL. And here you can see that we have two URL. We have test URL and we have production URL. So this one will be used for testing, like when you try to create the workflow and try to set it up. And this one will be once everything is set up, you can go ahead and change that to production. The next things you will see here is credentials. So here is where you will add your credentials. Just go ahead and create new credentials. And here you should see that you will need an access token and secret key. To get the credentials, just go to app.slack.com and then you'll be able to see all your workspaces. So go ahead and create new workspace and then click create workspace, give it a name, and then click next. Next, it will ask you about your name, just click next. And here it will ask you about your teammate, just click just myself and then click next. Then don't invite anyone. And here you'll be able to click start with limited free version. All right, and now we are on our workspace. The next things that we're going to be doing is create an app. And then this app will be connected to our workspace, and this app is where we are going to host our AI agent. Just go ahead and create a new app. And here you can select from scratch and then give it a name. And here it will select the workspace that we have created, which is n8n automation YouTube, and then select create app. Once your app has been created, you should see the app credentials here. Don't worry about anything because all you need is this sign-in secret. Click show, copy it, go back to n8n credentials, and in signature secret, just pasting that in. The next thing you want to do is scroll down here and then go to auth and permissions. Then scroll down till you find the scope. In here on bot token scope, we'll add the following scopes. The first one will be app mention read. So this basically means we are going to the event will be triggered whenever somebody like any user mentioned our app. Next scope is channels join. Another one which is chat write. This allows us to actually send the messages. And the final scope is files read. This allows us to read the files that the user upload. And once you add all the necessary scope, if you scroll up here on the auth token, you should see this button enabled, which is installed to n8n automation app. Just click on it. This basically just allow all the scopes that we have and we give them access to this workspace. Just click allow. If you see this button, this banner here, you have changed the permission, just click again, reinstall your app for these changes and just allow again. Click allow. Right now you should see the bot user auth token, just copy it. Go back to n8n credentials and in access token, just pasting that in here. So let's give it a name here and then click save. You should see connection tested successfully. Then close this. Now that everything is set up, the last things we need to do is to set up this webhook here to receive those events. And to do that, go to event subscription and then make sure you enable events. And here in request URL, you will change it with your webhook URL. Go to test URL, copy this, paste it in here. You may see this error, URL did not respond. Just go to the trigger and make sure you try to execute it. And here we can try again. And you should see it is verified. Go to subscribe to bot event, and here you will be able to add all the event that you want your webhook to listen to. You'll need to select app mention. This basically means subscribe to only message event that where the app has been mentioned. You can add as many events as you want, but in our case, we're just gonna stick with this one. And here hit save changes. All right, so now go to trigger zone, which means the event, and then select bot app mention, and then you can remove the previous event. And here on watch the whole workspace, just make sure you enable it, and then click execute step. Now go back to your workspace and go to any channel you would like, and then mentioned the app, and here you should be seeing n8n app YouTube app. and just say whatever, hi. After a while, you should see Slack bot said that you mentioned this app, but they are not in this channel. Just added them. Now that our app has been added, if we go back to our n8n trigger, we should see the app here and the event. You should see here the message hi. If we go here and execute it again, here at n8n YouTube and inside how are you, we should see the node has been triggered. If we inspect it here, we should see the text here, which is the message. Okay, so one thing that I want to mention is that if we go back to Slack trigger, on the output here, you should see that we have a channel and we have some text. This is the ID of the channel that the message is coming out from. So if we go back to our workspace on Slack, we should be seeing here a bunch of channel. We have social, new channel, all n8n automation YouTube. So you can also create as many channels as you like. So as we change the channel, you should be seeing that we have something here changed as well. This things here, which is the channel ID. So if I go to new channel, you should see it is changing. If we go to all n8n YouTube automation YouTube, we should see it is also changing. So if you would like this bot to be only related to a specific channel, all you need is the ID of the channel. So for example, I want only this bot to be working on this channel. All I have to do is go here and grab this ID, go back to n8n, and here instead of watching the whole workspace, just make sure you disable it, and then channels to watch, select by ID, and then you can paste in here the ID of the channel. Now, regardless of the messages or what, regardless when you mention the app, this will only be triggered once you mentioned it on this channel specifically. So for example, let's go ahead and add it first because it's not in the channel. Go ahead and mention the app and say anything, hi. And here you should see that Slack bot want us to add this, just add them. So let's go ahead and execute step. And let's say say hi. If we go back here, you should see this one has been executed. However, if we execute it again and we go to a different channel, for example, all n8n YouTube, then we try to mention it again. All right, let's add them. So if we go here and send the messages again, you should see that this trigger has not triggered anything at all. And the reason why is because we have explicitly set the channels that we want to watch. So I was just going to go ahead and enable this watch whole workspace because I want it to work on whole workspace. The next things we are going to be doing is to send a message on Slack. So add a new node, search for Slack again, and here you should see send messages action. And you can see the credentials already set. Good. And here on send messages to, you can select the channel or the user. In my case, I'll select the channel. And here you can select which channel you would like. Go from list and then you can add by ID because we want it to make it dynamic, which means whenever the message is coming out, which means the channels that the messages is coming out from, we just want to send it, the messages there again. So this ID will be from the Slack trigger. And here all we need is a message text. So let's say this is test from n8n. So let me just remove this. Let's execute this workflow and let's send a message. All right, and here we can just connect it here. And then we can add the channel here by default. So if you go to Slack trigger, you should see the channel ID. Just drag and drop it here. And if I execute step, and here we should see hi, this says test from an n8n. All right, so that's it. All we need to do now is to add our AI agent and all the tools we need. But before that, since we are going to change the connection here, it will not be from Slack trigger and send messages. We are going to add a bunch of nodes here. So we don't have any error here, go to JSON and here select the Slack trigger and go to channel ID, just select it and select this button and select copy item path, then paste it in here in the ID. So this way, even if we change the connection, we add a new node, there is no error. All right, so before we go here and implement RAG system or send for Retrieval-Augmented Generation, where you can actually talk to your document, we first should understand how this works. So back in 2022, when ChatGPT was just launched, it was basically a simple chatbot. You give it a prompt, right, and it will answer. However, the answer is sort of biased towards the training data. and the training data has been cut off, I don't know, since 2022. So we need a way to give it access to what happened today, like news or my document, because obviously ChatGPT hasn't seen my document or my project information. So we kind of need to give it access to that. Well, there is another method, which basically you go here and you open your document and you copy all the content and you give it to ChatGPT. However, if your document are very large, let's say you have 100 documents and each document is around 50 pages, that's impossible because first of all, it's very expensive and it will consume a lot of tokens, hence more money taken out of your pocket. Second of all, it's not possible because ChatGPT or any large language model have a something called context window. Like the think of it as like the size of how many text it can read. Okay, so if you give it access to 1,000 of pages, it cannot read them all at the same time. And this is where RAG comes to solve this issue. So instead of just prompt LLM answer, we can actually have some sort of retrieval from our document. So how does it work? Well, we take all your document, PDF, PowerPoint, etc., whatever. We go ahead and we read all the content. We transform them in something called chunk. And this chunk can be defined by you. Okay. It can be like each chunk can be 1 page, or it can be 1,000 character. It can be 2,000 character. It can be a paragraph. It can be separate lines. You define exactly how these chunks can be. Okay. And each chunk is then being transformed into something called vector. Vector basically like a list of number in one dimension. And what transforms this text into numbers is called the embedding model. This embedding model allows us to make meaning of a text with just numbers. Because again, at the end of the day, machine only understand numbers. They don't understand text. So we need a way for a machine to understand it. Plus, if we have a numbers, okay, if we have a bunch of vector numbers of each chunk, every time you ask question, there's something called retrieval. And this retrieval allows us to get only the chunks or the document that are related to your query. So let's say your document includes rules of golf, rules of poker, rules of jack black, etc. And your question is about golf. You don't want a document of poker or blackjack. You only want a document that related or paragraph that related to the golf. So what we do is that we take that question, we transform into a number using the embedding model. So we have the query in a vector as well. So what we do is we calculate something called cousin similarity between the retrieval vector, okay, with all the vectors that we have in database, and we get the most similar ones are the chunks that are related to your query. So that's basically how a retrieval-augmented generation works. Now, once we got these chunks, sorry, that are related to that similar vector, we add them or we join them with the user prompt, and then we give it to LLM sort of like context free to answer. And then we get the answer instead of the traditional method. All right, so let's go ahead and implement everything we said. So if we go back here, you should see that we need two operations. We need retrieval and we need to store the uploaded document. So you have two options. If the user send normal messages, you can go ahead and give it to your AI agent, use the retrieval method like we mentioned here. Or if the user uploads document, we should go ahead and store that in our vector database. So if we go back here, you should see that I have sent this document. And if we go back to the trigger, you should see that we have a new item here called files. And you should see that we only have one file because we only have 0 here, which means the first index. So if we have a lot of files, we'll have files 1, files 2, files 3, 4, etc. And if we scroll up here on the block, you should see rich text, which this is where the text messages go. However, I didn't send anything, so there is no text messages here. So we kind of need a way to handle this files for us, and then another operation that will handle this for us. So let's go ahead to this file first. So the first things that I want to do is that we have to check if, for example, these files exist. You see, because if I just go ahead to Slack and I just send messages, this will not exist. Okay, so let's go back to canvas here, and we are going to add if node, search for if node. So this again will route items to different choices, either true or false. Now all I want to do is just to check if this item exists. So go to files, drag it and drop it here, and since this is list because we have brackets here, go here and make sure you select array and then exist, because that's all we care about. So let me execute this and I will show you. So here you should see we have either true or false branch. False branch, which means the opposite of what's of the condition here, which means does not exist. And the true branch here is the positive of this, which is this one exists. So you can see it's true because it does exist. So once it does exist, we go ahead and store our document. However, like I said, this can be a lot, not just one file. It can be many files. So that's where we are going to add, go to true branch and search for loop over items. This one will loop through the items here. Okay. And here, let me just take this one out over here and just remove this replace me and remove this one. So here you can see I have explained this on a course. I will leave the link in the description below. But anyway, I'll repeat that again. So we have either two branches, either done or loop, which means if we have like we still have many items, we still loop through. Once we finish with all the items, we'll go to the done branch. Okay, so what I want to do in the loop branch is that I want to go ahead and take this document and do all these operation chunks, then store them into a vector database. Lucky for us, we're not going to go ahead and do that like in hard way. n8n has already built that for us. So what I want to do is just go ahead and download that file. So if we go ahead and execute this, we should see this one going through the loop. So I'm going to go ahead and add HTTP request. So this allows us to download the file. And here you should see that we have URL private download, and we also have some links here. So we are only interested in this private URL. So drag and drop it on this URL and make sure the method is get. All right, and here we have to add the authentication, because if we go ahead and execute this, it will not work, right? Because we need the authentication. So go ahead and select authentication, select predefined credentials type, and here search for Slack API. And here you should see the credentials that we have set for both the trigger and to send messages. All right, so if we go ahead and execute this, we should see this is the file in a binary, and this is the file that I have uploaded. So let's change the name, download file. Now that we have downloaded the file, all we need to do is give it to this pipeline. So add a new node. Here just search for vector store, and here you can have a template there if you want. And then you can use any database you would like. You can use Supabase, so I'll just stick with simple vector store. And once you select it, you should see some actions here. We have git ranked document, add document to vector store, retrieve document for AI agent tool. All we need to do is to add that to our vector store. So we have document to vector store. And here it's the same operation. And here you can select the memory key. Think of this as like the database name that you want to call. So I'll call it Slack YouTube database, and just select create new. And here you have the embedding batch size, which means like how many documents that you want to give it to the embedding model to embedding at one time. Just leave it as 200. And here you should see that I will need two things: the embedding model, which means the model that will transform the text into numbers, and here the document loader. So go ahead, select embedding model, and here you should see the embedding model. You can choose any model you would like. I'll stick with Google Gemini. And here you should see a list of models that you can choose from. Just make sure to select the one you would like. And here you will need the credentials. To add the credentials, all you need is the API key. To get the API key, just go to eistudio.google.com API key, and then you can create an API key, or if you already have it, just copy it. All right. Next, we will need document loader. Just add document loader. You should see that we only have one default data loader. So remember that I told you that here you get to choose how you want to define these chunks. Well, you can use it here. So here you can specify which type of data you would like. If you have a JSON, you can specify JSON. In my case, this is a binary. Just select binary. And here the mode we want to load everything. And here the data format, just make sure you select this one. If you have a specific data format, you can add it here. But in our case, this can be PowerPoint, documents, PDFs, etc. So we're just going to use automatically detected by the meme type. So it will use this meme type to detect the type of document. And here you can see it's a PDF type. Next, the text splitting, and this is where you get to choose how you want to define the chunk. So the default one here is to split every 1000 character with 200 character overlap. So this is the default one. If you want more custom, you can just select custom, and here you will add the text splitter and select character text splitter, and you define how many the separator you would like, the chunk size. I'm not going to do that for this session. Just remove this, and we are going to use the simple one, and that's it. So let's go ahead and run this, and here you should see has been executed. If you go ahead and inspect it, go to JSON, and here you should see all the things that has been added to the database. So you will see we have two items. Basically, using this document loader, we managed to transform the entire document into two documents or two chunks. And for example, this is some metadata, don't worry about it. All you need to care about is this content. So this is my CV. Okay, I uploaded the CV. It's only one pages. So here are the first content, and this is the second content. So this is the document that I have uploaded. So here, as you can see, it holds, I think, all my experiences, and here's some skills and the internship, etc. So next, we are going to take this one and just make sure you wrap it here. So we go ahead and we do this for all the files that we have. All right, so once this loop has been finished, it will go through the done branch, and we just want to send a messages to Slack to let us know that the document has been added with success. Go ahead and add new node, search for Slack, same as before, and here we're going to select send message, and here on send messages, like before, we're going to choose channel. Then we're going to add the channel that this message is coming out from. So go ahead to the channel right below, drag and drop it here, and here the messages will be document added with success, execute step. All right, let's go back here, and here we should see document added with success. And just make sure you go to the setting and you enable this execute once, because you can see that we have two messages coming out. And the reason why is because this loop over item will try to output all the files that we have that have been added before. So you can see that we have here 2 items in total. So just make sure you enable that on the setting. All right, so if we go ahead and execute step this time, we should see that we have only 1 item, and here we should see that we have only 1 message. Right, so all this part will handle adding document to a vector store. This part will handle like normal texts and messages between the user and AI agent. So if we go here to Slack trigger, go to schema for more comprehensible, it's really easy to understand. And here on block, you will see that we have rich text. However, there is no rich text. And the reason why is because when I have uploaded document, here you should see that there is no text. So basically it is empty. So we just want to handle this issue because the text will not always be there. So let me go ahead and add a new message. Say, hi. Go ahead, execute step before we send it, and let's send the messages. And here you should see the workflow executed. And here you will see that we have element 0, and then we have element 1 where the text actually existed. So this is what we want. And in that case, we're going to be adding another if node, all right? And we just want to make sure we hook it up with the Slack trigger, okay? And here we have two options. If there is a text, we go ahead and try to give it to an AI agent to answer that question. If there isn't, we just ignore that. So all I want to do is go to the element. Let me go ahead and grab that here. And here on the element, like I said, we have 0, which is the user who sent that. Then we have text. So drag and drop this element. All right, drag and drop this text here. And here all we need to do is make sure it is exist. If it is exist, we go to the true branch because it does exist. And we just go ahead and hook that with an AI agent. Go ahead and add AI agent. And here you will need the source of prompt. So go ahead and add define below, and here all you need is the prompt, and in our case it will be from element 1 we have text. So this is high, and here you should see that I will need the chat model. You can add memory and tools, so go ahead and add chat model. You can add any model you would like. I will go ahead and add Gemini. Okay, and let me just go ahead and run this and see what happened. All right, let's go ahead and see it. And you should see, hi there, how can I help you today? Okay, so all I want to do is take that messages and send it back to our channel. So grab this and I will rename it answer the query and just hook it up with the AI agent. And here we can modify it. So here will goes the channel that message is coming out from, and the message text here will be the output from AI agents. So drag, drop it here. So let me execute that. And if we go back here, you should see hi there, how can I help you today? And just like before, go to the setting and go ahead and execute once because this AI agent may trigger many times. Next thing is that we give it access to this database and we give it to retrieval tool. Okay, so we have two options. The first option is to go ahead and retrieve the document regardless of the user question, or we give it as a sort of a tool for AI agent. So why should you choose one over another? Well, if your questions or your query will always be related to your document, you can go ahead and add it here between, like before the AI agent. Then all you need to do is join the retrieval data here. However, this might consume a lot of tokens and time, especially if your query is not related to the document. As you can see here, all I said is hi. So this one does not need to go ahead and retrieve any document. And if you hook it up here, the retrieval tool that I'll be showing you later, it will go ahead and retrieve that and then add it to AI agent, which gonna make it just expensive without any, like, it's not necessary to add it here because my query is just high, so I don't need that. So to use the power of AI agent, I recommend to add it as a tool, because why called AI agent is because it is autonomous and he knows exactly when to execute tool. So if you add a retrieval here and you say to AI agent, hey, this is a retrieval method, use it only when the user requested, it will only be used when I have requested or when I ask a question. So go to tool, again search for vector store, make sure you select the same one, and here you should see that I have retrieve a document as a tool for AI agent. So this will be a tool for AI agent. If you have a chain tool, it is like an AI agent, but it's more chained. You can use it. I recommend to use this one. So this one will be tool for AI agent. Okay, and here you can add the description. So here I said use this tool to retrieve document if necessary. And here just make sure to give it access to the memory key, which in our case Slack YouTube database. And here the limits, and the limits means how many chunks that you would like to retrieve. Okay, you can specify 4, specify 2, and here make sure you disable metadata because you don't need it. It just sort of handles like the document name type. You don't need that. Next, you will see that you will need an embedding model, and the reason why is, like I said, once we have the prompt, we want to transform into a vector because you cannot compare the text with numbers. They have to be the same. Okay, so they have to be numbers, both the same type. That's why we'll need the embedding. And just make sure it is the same embedding as the one you have chosen once you add that here. Just make sure it's the same one. Otherwise, you might get some sort of overlapping. All right, so let's go ahead and execute this workflow. And let's go back to our workspace and make sure you mention the app. And I will say, what is the experiences of Ajman Haddouche? Enter, go back here. You should see that this one has been triggered. Let's see here. And here you can see Ajman Haddouche has experience as a technical writer at Medium, data science at Upwork. He's also becoming a past experience computer vision engineer. And this is actually what I have included here. Upwork, Code Soft, Medium. And this is exactly what AI told me. So basically that's it. So just make sure you save your workflow and just make sure you go ahead to active. However, go to Slack trigger and here make sure that go to production URL, copy, go to aps/slack.com apps and then choose the app they've created. And then you will go to event and subscription. And then you will choose the URL that we have added here, change it, then add this one and make sure it is for production. Then click save changes and it should be working. If we go ahead here and I keep mentioning it, hello, how can I help you today? And I ask it how many years of experiences Mahdish has in machine learning. And here she says Mahdish has 2 months of experience in machine learning intern at Cold Soft, 2 years at 11 months of experience as a data scientist at Upwork from February 2023 present, 2 months as a computer vision engineer at Walcon University. And here you can see my experiences here matches the same as the AI agents send us. Right. Another thing that we want to add is the memory, which is the ability to remember past messages. So to add that, just add the memory here. You can add any memory you like. I'm gonna work with simple memory, and here we'll need the session ID. Just session ID will be the user, which means it will only remember the interaction because we don't want it to overlap, especially if we have, for example, 2 or 3 users in our channel. We don't want the AI to overlap our conversation. So go to user, drag and drop it here. We'll go to trigger, it will be better. Drag and drop the user here. And here you can specify the context window length, which means how many interactions you would like to remember. All right, so that's it for the video of today. That's how you can build a Retrieval-Augmented Generation inside Slack with n8n. If you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe button. All the workflows and the link will be in the description below, and see you in the next video.